Diva's Health, Beauty and Wellness is inviting each and every one of you to their 5th event of the year 2022. Today, we are lucky to have with us the renowned fitness expert and registered clinical dietitian, Richa Modak. Welcome, Richa. I would like to give a brief introduction about Richa.
And Richa, you can unmute yourself. Okay.
And she can take over from there. And today we have her here to discuss about her recently published book, Fat, Flat or Fit. This was published in March of 2022. Richa's educational journey was a long one, and after having completed her master's degree in biodiversity and microbiology, she went on to pursue another master's degree in public health. She majored in human nutrition and dietetics. She completed her internship from one of the highly ranked health systems in Michigan and then became a registered dietitian. She's also a certified personal trainer from the American College of Sports Medicine. And through various certifications, she has gained a strong background in various areas of fitness, including strength and resistance training, cardiorespiratory, yoga, pranayama, dance-based, and horse riding. She's currently in the process of becoming a doctor of clinical nutrition to further establish her expertise in the field of health and nutrition. I would now like to invite Richa Modak to discuss about her book. Take over, Richa.
Thank you so much, Srividya, for the lovely introduction. And first of all, I would like to say thank you to all of you who are here today, and to Diva for hosting me. And like I said, especially to Savita, because without whom I would not be here talking to you guys today. So before I get started and share my screen and talk about the book, I just wanted to let you guys know that this is going to be more of an informal discourse where we will talk about the book, and then we can have an open discussion in the end where we encourage you to ask any questions if you have. So the book actually, let me start sharing the screen with you before I even show you the book. All right. Okay, so this is our event today. And the name of this book in question is Fat, Flat or Fit, Think Fitness, Not Fatness. And this is what the book really looks like. And later in this presentation, we are definitely going to take a sneak peek inside this book. Okay. All right. So, you already know who I am. It was introduced to you, but then this is pretty much me in my habitat, working with, patients and clients every single day. Just in the last year alone, I think I must have seen over 1,000 patients. And the thing is that I work, because of my primary care and family medicine background, I work with any kind, so literally any kind of disease conditions are thrown at me when I am at work. And my youngest patients are newborn, and the oldest one, I believe, was 97. So it's a wide age range, it's a wide range of medical conditions, and it is a wide range of non-medical conditions where people, sorry, someone is not mute yet. Where people would want to come and see me for, just preventive medicine, like I am healthy right now and I want to stay in that state of health, right? So what actually inspired me to write this book? So here's what happened. When I never really intended for this to be a book to begin with. Okay, so when I started working with for years now, I've been working with patients and clients, and I like to focus on the foundation, that is, correcting your lifestyle. And the reason I do this is because there are main lifestyle variables, as we will be talking about in a couple more slides. They really help you with controlling these chronic conditions that you may have, because you cannot really change your genes. It's very likely that you are susceptible for something in future, but you can control that right now because of these epigenetic factors, like controlling, modulating your diet, your exercise, your overall lifestyle. And so I started making educational material. When people came to me, I would give them some material to go home and read, that okay, read this is what we want to do. And then I thought, there's so much of materials that we're compiling, because every time people would ask me questions, right? That, okay, so you sent me this material, but I have this question. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good question. Let's make a separate material for this one. And that's how this book started getting compiled. So honestly, this book is made from questions that have been asked to me by my patients and my clients. So the unique thing about this book is that you will see that almost every chapter opens with a story of a patient. That patient is a real person. Of course, we have changed the identity because we cannot share health information that openly. There are laws to protect that. So, but those patients are real and those stories are real. And the reason we put those in is because sometimes you find it relatable, and then we are like, oh, I see. So, this is how I need to change my lifestyle. Okay. So that is how this book was born. And Fat, Flat or Fit, the title came into place because, so like I said, I see a lot of patients, right? So most of the time when people come to me, I get complaints, oh my God, I've become so fat. Look at my stomach. Or someone comes to me and says that I wish my stomach was as flat as when I was 16, but not one patient comes up in my clinic and says, I want to be fit. Okay, so we are all about looking. Do I look fat? Do I have a flat stomach? But nobody ever says to me, do I look fit? Am I fit? Is my blood work good? And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. That really, is it about looking, or is it about really being fit so that you can enjoy life? So the book is designed as a resource for professional information on health and lifestyle. Okay, this is not like other books where it's the author's opinion, or it's not like that. It is real, true information. It is evidence-based. It is scientific facts. All right. And the reason why we have this book in place is to deter you guys from going and becoming graduates of the Google University, which is so common these days. I think this was last week, I had a patient who walked in and we were talking about, fruits and vegetables, and the patient just snapped at me like, I don't do fruits. They're not good for you. They're too sweet. And I'm like, who told you that? Fruits are good for you. And that's what happens with Google University. Sometimes you'll get correct information, but there is equal amount of incorrect information. And that really confuses people. That really makes it very difficult for people to say that, okay, to decipher, okay, this is the correct bit of information. This is applicable to me. Also, all the correct information might not be designed for you particularly, because honestly, what you need to have or know is really based on what kind of genetics you have, what kind of medical history you have, correct? So the idea was that let's just keep Google and all those other search engines out of picture, and let's give you guys this, because this book is created with that in mind, that yeah, you need to know some things, right? I have a B12 deficiency. What kind of food should I eat? This book is going to answer that question for you. Okay. So moving ahead, I wanted to start with a case study, because I think that way you will understand the purpose of this book and how this book can be used. Okay. In India, we have a lot of type 2 diabetes mellitus. This was not an Indian case, but this is my most recent case that I'm currently working with. All right, so that is why I came up with this one. This is an 85-year-old female. She has type 2 diabetes mellitus, and she has all these other chronic conditions too, but I'm not going to discuss those right now. We are only going to focus on the type 2 diabetes mellitus, okay? So here is the graph of her diabetes. So let me explain a few things. HbA1c is the number that we look at when we are diagnosing a patient with type 2 diabetes, okay? So an HbA1c of 5.6 and below is considered normal. 5.7 to 6.4 is considered pre-diabetic, and then 6.5 and above is considered diabetic. Okay, so this is a patient who is 85 years old. So, obviously with age, there come more complications. And that's why she was very special to me, that even at that age, we were able to do a lot, as you can see. So let me actually walk you through the story here. Okay, in September 2019, I did not know this patient at that point. In September 2019, she comes in for her annual visit with her physician, and her A1C at this point, as you can see here, is 5.9. Okay, her physician says that, hey, you need to get a lifestyle referral so that you don't progress into diabetes. But most of the people like her are going to be like, yeah, that's so close to the cutoff, I'm going to be fine. And you know what, she was kind of okay, because in the next year her A1C had climbed up to 6.3. Okay, so this was September 2019, and then June 2020, she was at 6.3. Now she's kind of really close to being classified as a type 2 diabetic, right? So her doctor really encourages her that, no, you really need to see somebody, and she still dismisses it. And she's like, nah, I'll be fine. I'll just stop eating sweets or whatever. Okay. One more year goes by. The next year annual exam, we see that now her A1C is up to 7.9. And now this is where we were concerned. And then this is where her doctor says that, okay, you really need to either be on metformin, or you need to go and talk to somebody who can correct your lifestyle. She said she will talk to someone for lifestyle, but she never took metformin. She never did anything. And now 3 months later, so she had an event in between because of the sudden increase in her blood glucose levels. Now, see, this is June 2021, and in October 2021, so this was 3 months later, she was at 11.2. This was a ridiculous climb. And this is important because this is what diabetes does to you. All this while, it was like a steady increase. And then just in 3 months, look at the damage that it did. Okay, so this is 3 years, and then this is 3 months. This is what diabetes is capable of doing. And it is a silent killer, because honestly, there are no symptoms. She had an event related to something else. I told you, like, she had other chronic conditions. And so there was an event related to something else, which brought her in. And that's when they checked the A1C, and it was that high. All right. So, this is when she really gets afraid. And then this is how we meet. Okay. So this is where she books in an appointment with me. And her appointment was scheduled in the November. So this was October 2021. In November 2021, we meet and we start working on lifestyle together. So in this whole process, this downward slope that you're seeing, we met a few times. And in March, we checked her A1C one more time, and it was back to 6.2. So she was back in her pre-diabetes levels. She was obviously put on metformin at this point because this was crazy high. But at all these visits that we had in between this segment, they reduced her metformin. And in March, we completely took her metformin away. So she was off of all her diabetes medications at that point. And then we evaluated her again in August or September this year, where we saw that without the metformin, she was able to balance, her levels were steady. And now I'm going to see her again in January. So we are hoping that it will go back down and she'll be back in her normal state. So this is a current ongoing patient, a real patient that I'm sharing here with you. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because this is the importance of lifestyle on chronic diseases. And we just don't give it much importance. We are like, health, oh yeah, I mean, it's a fad, It's not, because when you do the right things, you are able to modulate your health and you're able to do this. And this is, she's really, I mean, she's in her 80s. So this was really hugely creditable for her because, she followed what I told her to do, right? So what did we do exactly? Now, when we have patients with chronic diseases, we do 2 steps. One is correction of your lifestyle. That's the foundation. And then the second is medical nutrition therapy, which is specific for that particular disease. But when there are patients who don't have a medical condition, but who still want to stay healthy and fit, we just do the foundation. That is your lifestyle. And that foundation is common for whether you have a disease or not. That is what this book is about. Okay. So when we talk about medicine, understand that medicine, like for example, in this case, metformin, she took her metformin because that was going to reduce the blood glucose level that was elevated. Medicine is designed to control the symptom, but that metformin or that medicine was not going to solve the root problem that was the diabetes, right? Lifestyle change, on the other hand, nutrition especially, is the one that can modulate all these factors and solve the root problem. And that's why we can bring it. That's why we can see this massive drop here. Okay. So moving on. So what is lifestyle and why am I focused on it? So, I think I made my case when I talked about this one patient, and understand that I have personally dealt with so many, like diabetes has become a bit of a specialty thing for me. Anybody who needs to reverse diabetes, I just, usually I get referred that, okay, just go to her. She's going to be fine. She's going to make you fine. All right. So, so let's look at how I do this and why, and how this book is going to be utilized in there. So with lifestyle, the first thing we are going to talk about is nutrition. And nutrition, the second one would be exercise, sleep, and stress management. So these are the 4 important variables that I look at in my practice when I am talking about this foundation that I've, of lifestyle change. Nutrition, exercise, sleep management, and stress management. They are very, very crucial to you. And I'm going to explain just why. Now, nutrition, as you can see, is the bigger one here because everything is about nutrition, and I'll explain. Okay, so ignore the biology part of this. What I want you to focus on here is outside is the cell membrane. Inside, everything inside is called the protoplasm. All right, and the protoplasm essentially consists of water, proteins, lipids, that's fats, carbohydrates, and electrolytes, which would be your minerals like, potassium, sodium, those kind of things. Now, this is just a typical cell, but understand that it is the basic functional unit in your body, which means what? That all cells in your body have a specialized function depending on what organ system they're a part of. So when earlier we are talking about diabetes, we are talking about beta cells that are making insulin. Okay, that is the big problem there. So what we are going to do to cure diabetes is to work on those beta cells, right? And how we are going to modulate the function is by modulating what you're eating. So, and how you're, how you're overall functioning, right? So why am I showing you this right now? So like I said, this whole protoplasm, the normal contents are these, like I said. And then when I tell you, hey, you guys, you need to eat your balanced diet, this is exactly what we're asking you to do, right? Are you getting proper carbohydrates, proteins, fats, or lipids, like you can see on top there, vitamins and minerals? Again, those are your electrolytes, and then your water. Okay, so what registered dietitians do as compared to those other people who are just certified here and there, they don't really understand the physiology of nutrition. But registered dietitians are not the people who are here to serve you smoothies. They are the people who can modulate this to correct this. All right, and that's again one of the reasons why it is so important for you guys to understand your nutrition the way it is meant to be understood, not just based on Google, information, because it could be misinformation. The second of the two is exercise, and then there is sleep and stress management. So overall, if you look at exercise, you know that it helps you maintain your weight, you know that it reduces stress, improves mental health, it strengthens your bones and muscles, right? But unfortunately, exercise is always used as a wrong kind of tool. So people want to use exercise to burn calories, because they are so relying on the calories in, calories out equation. It's a famous equation. And it is not incorrect. That equation it's correct, but the thing is that it is not as straightforward as 2 and 2 gives 4. There are a lot of other offshoots and a lot of other things that play a role in saying that energy in equals energy out. It's not that straightforward, all right? So the idea is to understand energy. So understand, what is a calorie? Do you really need to sit and count your calories? No, you don't. But why not? Why not? That's the question. That's where that book is going to come into play. Again, okay, what is a calorie exactly? And why should I not be counting it? All right. Now, understand that when you work on all these lifestyle parameters, you are reducing the risk of all these complicated conditions that you may have in future, your metabolic syndrome, cardiovascular diseases, cancers, all the stuff, all the work that you're doing right now so that you can have a wonderful life after retirement usually does not work out that way for people because they ignore their health right now and they take all of that hard-earned money and use it on medical services because, if they had just taken care of their health, they probably would really be enjoying and, visiting other countries, of course, assuming that there is no more COVID, but still, you would still be enjoying yourself, right? So this is why this book is so important for you. It is going to help you both ways, preventive as well as if you do have a condition, it is going to teach you into modulating your lifestyle for the best outcomes. Okay. So let's get into the book now. So I wanted to, with all this background, I just wanted to make you understand why it is so crucial to buy this book for yourselves, for your understanding of lifestyle. It is kind of a self-help kind of a book, but it is definitely going to require additional support from me, which is why I was looking forward to talking to you guys today, especially for those of you who have already purchased this book. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the chapter breakdown of this book, and I am going to talk about why every single chapter is designed the way it is and what exactly is it going to tell you. Okay. Now, before I get into that, every book starts with an author's note. Okay. I would highly recommend you to read that. Usually it gets skipped over most of the times, even I have done that sometimes. But I will also tell you this, that when you read the author's note, you're going to find that you'll be able to relate with your author, because you will know that, okay, so this author has this kind of background. This is the reason why they are writing this book. What is their philosophy in general? You get to know all these ideas. And then you also know that your author is actually a real human being and not just a robot, So, which is very important because, we are all going through so much together. So it's important to know that this person is actually capable of empathizing with you, right? So do read the author's note. And now let's talk about the chapters that go inside the book, okay? All the names that I have put here are not necessarily exactly the chapter names, but some of them maybe, some of them are not. But what I'm trying to do is tell you what each chapter focuses on, okay? So the first chapter actually goes into the details of health and fitness. We all have very different and skewed ideas of health and fitness. So what does it mean for us from the medical standpoint when we are assessing, are you fit? What am I looking at exactly? All right. So that is what this chapter is going over. It will also go over talking to you guys about, okay, so how do I choose which provider is actually correct for me? And this is something everybody needs to know, because there are so many, and I cannot tell you how many times patients come in and say that, oh my gosh, I was working with this person for so many years, and now I have all these conditions because I was doing this weird diet and I was doing this weird exercise. I have a lot of people who come up with eating disorders because of, an adult onset eating disorders. There's a serious uptick in those cases. And I don't want to end this in a negative note, but, working in a clinic, I actually get to see that side. And so I'm more and more passionate about trying to make you guys aware that there's a lot going on that you're not seeing behind the curtains, right? So health and fitness, definitely read through this chapter, understand what health and fitness is all about and who your real providers are and what should you know about them, okay? The next one, like I said, is energy. Now, this is a chapter that talks about our favorite equation, energy in and energy out. It will give you a complete understanding of what is calorie, what is energy, how does that equation apply to you, but how does that equation also not apply to you? So it will tell you both sides of the story. Usually only one or the other side is shared with you. So I have tried to make it all, like compile it together in a way that you understand, okay, so this is how it does apply, but this is how I should not be thinking about it, right? The next one we have talked about is body weight. This is again, it's such a sensitive subject these days, oh my gosh, my weight. I mean, I actually have people who would refuse to stand on the scale when I have to go weigh them. And I'm like, I need your weight. I need to do so many more calculations that are based on your weight. I need it. But body weight is a very sensitive issue. And that is because people don't understand that the body weight is not telling me anything. So what exactly is body weight and what part of the body weight should you be concerned of when you're going for weight loss? This is a very crucial chapter, people. So just don't skip this. Okay. So this is like, especially for those of you who are weight conscious, I would highly recommend that you read this. Nutrients, this is a big chapter. This is going to cover all the nutrients. So your macros, your micros, but additionally, we are also going to talk about why are carbs important for those of the people who are afraid of carbs, or why are fats important? Those are like I don't know, everybody thinks that fat is evil. But why are fats important? What would happen if you did not have fats, right? And then this is the chapter where we are also giving you a few tables. Like, for example, earlier I gave you an example that, let's say if someone had a deficiency of B12 or someone had a deficiency of thiamine, what are the nutrients what are the sources of food that you would get these nutrients from? So we have also made sure to list both vegetarian and non-vegetarian sources of those foods, just to make it more convenient for all our readers, okay? The next one is, this is a very interesting topic and has received a lot of attention in these days. I personally was working with Michigan Medicine and in their lab, in their microbiology lab, and I was working on some of these gut bacteria that we were growing there. So what is gut microbiome? Your intestines have a lot of microorganisms in them, and these microorganisms are actually good for you, so much that we consider it another organ of your body, because it does serve a lot of important roles, physiological functions, and it is a governor of all the inflammatory status that is going on inside your body, okay? So this chapter gives you a bit of an idea on what that is and what their role is, and how do you make sure that your gut microbiome is steady. So you might have heard that a lot of the times, because of our diet and all the highly processed foods that we are eating, this microbiome shifts to an unfavorable composition. And when that happens, it is related to a lot of gastrointestinal diseases and disorders. So this chapter goes over how to take care of your gut microbiome, and it also talks about the other side. So microorganisms, you have either purely helpful and purely evil, right? So the evil ones, how do you keep those away? How do you keep those out of your kitchen? How do you make sure that you are practicing food safety? So we have gone over both sides of the story in this chapter. This is the highlight chapter of my book. The Power Tiers Nutrition Plan is a new kind of a nutrition plan. It is not a diet. It is not a fad diet, definitely. But it is definitely a new way of eating and making sure that you are getting a balanced nutrition. Now, this is something that I absolutely focus on when I am correcting anybody's disease status, okay? So the Power Tiers Nutrition Plan teaches you how to eat. That is the main, basically it's all about how to build that meal and how to eat right, how to make sure that you're focusing on every single nutrient that you need to focus on. All right, and just to make it easier for you guys, even though this book is not exactly like a recipe book, we have provided examples of, or samples of these power tiers. How can you put these things together so that you're not really, everything is not left to your imagination. We have definitely tried to guide you. The next one is exercise and physical activity. So in this chapter, we have talked about the other benefits of exercise. So remember earlier I said it is used as a wrong tool. It is used only to burn calories. Unfortunately, exercise doesn't burn quite as many calories, as many as you are burning just by being alive. It's like a cherry on the top. It's a good thing. But exercise has more physiological benefits than its use of, burning calories. So this chapter goes into how do you design an exercise plan for yourself? What is a balanced exercise? And we have thrown in a freebie there where we are like, okay, you know what? Let's give you a sample exercise, whole body exercise without any equipment. Just all you need is maybe a towel, and that's it. So we have definitely done that for you guys as well in this book. The next one is the next two important variables, which would be sleep and stress management. So we have given you a lot about how to make sure that you are sleeping on time, why is sleep so important for you guys, and then how to manage your stress. The stress management part of this chapter has a slightly different tone as compared to the rest of this book. And from those of people who have bought this book, they've actually told me that, hey, you know what, this is actually really nice. It really helped me realize that, yeah, I can be in control. So definitely read through this part, because stress is not going anywhere. It is always going to be there with you, okay? And then lastly, the tools of lifestyle change. So let's say that with all this information, now you know that, okay, I know how to change my lifestyle and I'm going to start doing it. You know, Thanksgiving is upon us. Before you know it, it's going to be the end of the year, and then everybody is going to start making New Year's resolutions. So how do you make a resolution? How do you make that goal? I want to change this about my lifestyle, but how do you make that goal? You'll need a lot of tools for that, right? So this chapter actually goes through a lot of tools, like understanding your hydration status, understanding nutrition labels, understanding mindfulness when it comes to eating, understanding what healthy snacks are. That is another thing that people ask. What kind of snacks are healthy? What do you snack on? That's going to be in that chapter. And then also how to design a proper goal that you can actually work with. Okay, so this chapter is an excellent summary to the, it's not a summary, actually, it's a very separate chapter that gives you the tools of how to use the entire book and make yourself a lifestyle change modeler, if you will, which is customized to your needs, right? So definitely another really important chapter here. So basically, I've said that all these chapters are important. The point is that it is really a good idea to start thinking about your health and fitness now. It is never too late, okay? So with that, I am going to show you where to purchase this book, and then I'm going to just show you inside the book after I stop my screen share, okay? So either you can just go on Amazon and you can say Fat, Flat, or Fit in the search bar, and it will just show up. This is what it looks like on Amazon if you look it up. Otherwise, you can also go to my website. On my website, you will see this products, the one that's highlighted in blue here. So you just go click on the products, and when you click on the product, you are going to see, I don't know if you guys can see this. So when you go in the product, you're going to just see the book right away. And for United States, you just click on that Amazon link and it will directly take you to Amazon right here. If you have friends and family in other parts of the world, we do have this book available on Amazon in 9 other countries. And we are expecting to release it in December. That is just next month in India. So with that, I think I'm going to stop my screen share and just show you the inside of the book. So give me 1 second here. All right. So like I said, this is what the book looks like. And we have really, inside of this is just a little sneak preview, but let me actually show you inside the main chapter that I was talking about on how to make your your power tiers. So in your power tiers, we have actually given you examples and pictures of, how do you design and how do you ensure that you're eating a meal the way you should be eating? How should you manage the balance of that meal? And also, if you go into the nutrients chapter, you're going to see a lot of like tables, which really trying to make it really easy for you guys that, okay, so if I wanted to look up, I don't know, calcium, for example, so where am I going to get my calcium, right? So I'm going to obviously get it from dairy, but if I'm not doing dairy, I'm going to get it from orange juice. So it's things like that we have made sure to put in this book that makes it really easy for you, and the information can be used any which way you want. It is all scientific information. There is nothing, no rubbish, no personal opinions, nothing like that. Okay. So with that, I think I am going to hand it over back to Srividya. We wanted to have a discussion session with you guys and have this open for questions or concerns or anything that you might have. So let's open it up for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Richa, for this very enlightening and very powerful, your presentation was excellent. I did, let me show my video. I did buy the book.
Thank you.
Yes, and I read it I read all the chapters. Now I read this book, so I want to strongly recommend to anybody and everybody who has a body, who's living, should buy this book and read it. And I put on a pair of like a consumer glass. I made sure that I was a consumer and not a professional while reading this book. What can I get out of this book? How is the information simplified? Like you said, there is umpteen, umpteen number of information available, and people typically resort to Google and WhatsApp University for all their information and then try to be an expert. And then it's funny how they will advise and one another on, hey, you should do this, do that. And you had mentioned that how you should go to the credentials are so important. So I was reading this book exactly like as a consumer. How can I understand all those complex information? And so I love this, that how you have designed this, and then with all the graphs and all the pictures. And then also people are always looking for want a cookie cutter. They want things to be easy. Is there a template I can punch in those information? And is there an easy formula? And can I have the answer? And that's the equation that typically people are looking at. And then I think this book explains, gives a beautiful meal plan. I love the power tier plan. So I'm going to use this book for sure. And I strongly recommend, and it's wonderful that we have you here to give us this information. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am now, thank you so much, Richa. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for your lovely reviews, because it means a lot when it comes from someone who is not the author to, to hear the consumer side of how you feel about the book. So thank you so much for sharing that. I really appreciate it.
I will now let Savita take over, and then we can, once Savita finishes, we can have the floor for open it for questions.
Thank you, Vidya and Richa. It was like you had me as to everybody is different. So I'm really, really appreciative of all the information. And I know I did not buy the book, but I am looking into trying to get a little bit more healthier overall. That's my goal for 23. So I'm trying to get some more muscle mass versus just burning calories. I know that I've lacked in the last 2 years. So I definitely will be reading the book. And actually, I wanted to find out a little bit more about how could somebody enroll in your program, the nutrition program, because I feel like once I enroll in it, I would have a little bit more control over what I'm eating, what I'm doing, because I feel like eating the wrong food all the time. So, so if you can share with us a little bit more on if you are, obviously, you're saying that you have patience, but I probably will not be somebody that necessarily have any issues. I'm perfectly healthy. I just had my checkup. But I feel like, you talked about cells, and I feel like my overall cells are not healthy, so how would we find out, like, how can we enroll in your nutritional program?
Thank you for that question, Savita. And I would look forward to seeing you, obviously. So it is really easy for you guys to get in touch with us. We have made it really easy. So all you have to do is go up on the website. And you know what? If I can just share my screen here, I can show it to you really quickly. So give me 1 second. All right. So hang on. There you go. All right. So if you go to the website, richamodak.com, we have, there you go. So we have all these, this is what the website, the page looks like, okay? And we have made it really easy for you to just go here into our contact page. And when you go into the contact page, all you have to do is fill this form out and tell us that, hey, so I'm looking to get into your nutrition program. And just send us a message, and we just get back to you within a couple of days, and we'll talk to you about what do you need. And the great thing about our nutrition program is that our first appointment with you is always free, because we are just trying to understand what you want. And then based on how many appointments are you looking at? Do you just want a single appointment, or do you want to see me multiple times? We try to make it really affordable and really simple for you guys to, work with me. We are also doing a Fat, Flat, and Fit program. So we already have a few people who have purchased the book, and they are learning to use the book one-on-one with me. So we have all these different options for you. So we're not rigid. We are not like, yeah, okay, this is it. This is the flat rate. And we really try to accommodate everybody as far as we can. Okay.
So do you, so once I set up the appointment, so do you manage, like, if somebody wants a weight management, or they have a goal of losing weight, and also doing strength, strengthening the muscles. So is that something that what you would then do? And where are you located?
Yeah, so right now, so we are based in Ann Arbor, but we are totally virtual at this point because most people didn't want to travel all the way up here. So, we are doing a lot of virtual stuff. So what we do is we give you the holistic thing. So it's not just the meal plan. We are going to do the meal plan. We are also going to design a customized exercise program for you. And then we are going to fit you in, our schedule. And then if you want to do one-on-one, you want to do a small group, whatever you want to do, we try to fill in. And what our exercise program is actually interesting. It's called a variety fit program. So we make sure that we are not boring you with one specific type of exercise. We will give you like a whole variety, because that's the reason why I got certified in all these different branches of exercise as well. So we do everything that we can do to customize it for your needs. And then we just come, like, it's on Zoom. So you can be in your own living room. You don't have to worry about COVID. You don't have to worry about RSV or anything else. So right now we are completely offering virtual clinics.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm definitely signing up because I definitely need it. So
Thank you, Sabita.
anybody else has any questions, please?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So, Richa, you said about you have trained in various. So, do you do like a dance session? Say you have a group of clients that are, or do you said you have a variety fitness program. So, do you like typically like change these routines?
Yes. So what the reason I said variety fit is, something that we try to do per person, because remember in my presentation, I said that everybody might have a different requirement. So everybody cannot do or is not at the same level when it comes to dancing or yoga or those kind of exercises, right? So while we also do a kind of team exercises where people just sign up. So we have these short workshop kind of things where every Saturday for 2 months, we are going to be doing a Zumba class. Then then everybody is invited. It's like a drop-in class. But if you're looking for something specific to your fitness plan, then we use Zumba, we use Bollywood dancing, we use yoga, we use weight training, we use boot camps, we use all these things together to design a plan that actually will improve your physiology in the way we want, or we want it to, or make you respond the way we want you to, if you get what I'm saying.
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much. Now, do you do anything on site at all? Like, do you have a studio at all, or is everything virtual?
Everything is virtual currently, because when we started, it was it was literally like February of 2020, we just launched Mod R, and then March it was pandemic. So we never really ventured outside. And so we are really looking into that though right now. We are absolutely on the lookout for a perfect place and to have a studio. But until that point, we are definitely doing virtual.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So being in your program, will we have to join a gym as well, or have some equipment since it's virtual? Are we going to have equipment of our own? So how will that work since it's virtual?
Since it's virtual, this is a great question. So we thought about this too. Most people do have, some equipment at home, but for those of you who don't, we don't require you to go and have equipment. Like we might recommend equipment that, okay, you can just get resistance bands because those are pretty cheap, and we'll work with what you have. But if you just don't have any equipment at all, we are going to stick to whole body, using your body weight. And then, so it's not that we don't have an option for you if you don't have equipment or if you don't have gym membership. If you have it, we are going to use that. We're going to be like, okay, so let's use that and let's, get that into your plan. But it's really up to you. It's very customized.
So for example, if I'm belonging to a gym, then you would give me things that I can do in the gym. Is that right? Like
Absolutely.
like 30-minute cardio, 20-minute weight resistance and things like that. Okay, cool.
Exactly. I will build you a proper workout plan for you to go to your gym, and I'm going to be asking you questions. What kind of equipment do you have? What kind of equipment are you comfortable using? And then based on that, I'll design a plan for you.
So do you also have a plan for seniors? I'm recently have joined a senior group where they're looking for motivation. They're looking for things like that. So do you have a program specifically? Because seniors at the moment, you know, they have fixed income. They're not, you know, the richest people in the world. And because they don't even have a ways to even get somewhere. So you do work with seniors as well, right?
We do work with seniors, and this is a concern that we all have been voicing together, even, you know, especially when you said about the income. So what we try to do is to make it affordable for them. This is where we work with the group. So, you know, if we have someone who is saying that, hey, so I have all these seniors, or I have a whole group of people who are interested in physical activity classes, then we are going to have the whole group join in. So, you know, collectively, they don't have to, like individually, they don't have to pay a huge sum of money. So we try to fit that together as well. And then we will have like a group session where we can just work with them and, you know, help them improve their physical activity.
So would you be doing something like that? For example, we can get these seniors into one location somewhere, and then they're able to come to that. Would you be able to come there and do a class on a regular basis, or what would that be? I mean, I know this is kind of off the topic a little bit. We can talk about it later, but this that you would entertain.
Yeah, this is definitely something that I would be very happy to do, as you know, as long as it depends really where we are traveling. So it's within a doable radius, especially with winter and, you know, the snow accumulating on the road. But yeah, this is definitely something we can do where we can meet at one place, and then we can meet once a week, or, you know, we can set a cadence. And yeah, absolutely, we can do that.
Okay, cool. All right, thank you.
Of course.
Richa, I have one more question. You said the first session is like the first consultation is complimentary, and then is that a Zoom session, or is that on-site physical? You have to be physically present for you to do the assessment and evaluation.
No, so right now we are doing everything virtually. So even the first session is really, it's not about evaluation. It's really about trying to understand what exactly are your needs, and then what exactly would I need from you. For cases who are pretty, like, you know, for example, we have had to teach people how to use a glucometer, for example, or something like that. I have had people, I mean, we have taken people over here where, you know, the basement of my house is pretty much my office. That's how it had started originally. So we still have rare visitors or patients who will come in here where we do a full assessment, but, you know, it's really up to the patients. Usually people are more comfortable ever since COVID started to be wherever they are.
Excellent, thank you. We still have a few more minutes, and Richa, if you're still open to more questions, I would encourage any of our other members and participants to feel free to go ahead with questions, or you can even put it in the chat if you would want, and we'll field the questions for you to Richa.
Hi, Richa. Yeah. Hi, Richa. This is Meeta.
Hi.
Hi. I have a question. So what kind of insurances do you accept at all, if you do?
So we are not accepting any insurances in Michigan, unfortunately, because Michigan is working on that. There is a bill that is passed that we can accept insurances in private practice right now. But since most insurances require that they be billed under your primary care physician, that is not really an option for private practitioners at this moment. So it's not that, so it's unfortunate for Michigan. Michigan and Arizona are the only two states that have this issue right now.
Oh,
so
okay.
So we are private pay right now, which is why we try to make it really affordable. So I know that in other states, these consulting sessions can be pretty expensive, but we cannot do that. We understand. So we are working on trying to accept insurances, whatever, at least the ones that we can. But I know that most insurances are like, yeah, no, we need your primary care to do the billing and not us. So that's where the big problem is. But we will make it very affordable for you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
To piggyback on Meeta's question, Richa, do you accept like if the amount, like if somebody has a health savings account? See, right now, families have like huge deductible, high co-pays. Sometimes it's costing them an arm and leg. And so will you use their health savings account plan, or if they have a HRA plan, will those apply towards?
Yeah, so we can try to use the HSA, but the thing is that most people are going to have it differs, how for every company. So we will try to use it, but then again, it needs to be approved by your company or your provider, I guess. That's
Hi, Richa. This is Alka. Just kind of continuing with the question. So what are your charges? Can you give us some approximate idea? I know it might be customized, but what is your approximate consultation that you like? What is the cost of that?
So our consultations really, again, so it depends on what kind of consultation. I have some people who will come just for one nutrition consult. Okay, that's it. And if that is the case, then and if we are giving them the whole deal, like, the meal plan and, like a customized plan, and then giving them like everything, they're looking into their medical history, everything, then we will go somewhere between $80 to $100 for one session. But when the sessions start increasing, the increment is not based on that first price, so that obviously it goes down. So it really depends.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to answer that question.
No. I totally understand. And then just another question, do you get your clients to do the blood work ahead of time to see at least what you are starting to work with?
Absolutely. So we request that you send us your blood work if you have done it recently. Otherwise, we definitely recommend it, because like I said, if for some reason, let's say you have, someone comes to me and they have family history of diabetes or heart disease, and I don't know what their blood work looks like, then it's very hard for me to design or to go for the medical nutrition therapy aspect of it, to look at all the lipid profile, their blood glucose, their everything else in their plan. So yeah, we definitely highly recommend it, so that we can design the perfect plan for you. Absolutely.
So sorry, one more question. Is it like a regular blood work, or you're looking for specific nutrients in the blood that you are trying to test?
So it again, that depends. So usually we are just looking for your overall medical history. Okay, so you can just share it. Like you can just say that, okay, I want to share this with this provider, so you can just share it. After looking at that history, however, if I feel like, okay, maybe you are on some kind of a medication that is going to put you at risk for a deficiency, I might let you know that, hey, by the way, I didn't see this in your blood work. Have you talked to your doctor about this? Because if you get this done, then we might be able to like correct it in case you have a deficiency or something. So yeah, I will do that. I will actually go over your blood work and I will let you know that, hey, this is something that we are missing. But otherwise, I'm looking more specifically for your lipid profile, your A1C, your thyroid panel, liver function, those kind of things.
Okay, thank you so much, Richa.
Absolutely.
I have one more question. Do you, I know you said your clients vary from 0 to 97. So do you see children with allergies, severe constipation, celiac disease, all the GI issues?
Yes. So at this point, I think where I work outside in the primary care location, I think I'm the only dietitian who deals with gastrointestinal disorders. So yes, I look at gastrointestinal is kind of my favorite area. So, and I know a lot about that. So yes, absolutely. Yes.
Thank you. Good to know, because, then we may become best friends then.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just love gastrointestinal. I'm very passionate about it. So yeah, absolutely.
We always looking for things. So thank you.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
Yeah. So last question I have is, so let's say I'm signing up. So what do I need to send my blood work to you first before we speak, or is first I'm going to consult with you first and then you're going to say, okay, I need XYZ? Because I just had my physical, I just had my blood work done. And so for me to give that to you, I just fill out a form, maybe a HIPAA form or something like that at the providers, and then they will email it to you or fax it to you.
So it works two ways. So first of all, let me address the first part of your question. So once we meet, you know, in the first appointment that I said, the one that's complimentary, that's when I will ask you more about your, you know, your details, like what exactly are we looking at? And let's say you have a family history of something, or you think that you have something. So I'm going to say that, okay, so, you know, I'm going to send you some paperwork from my end just to save time, you know, to fill that out. And with that, I will ask for your, if you've just done your physical, then I'm going to ask you for that data. Now, patients prefer to send it themselves because these days, everybody is on My Chart or something, you know, where they have access to their. So I don't know if you guys know, but there is recently a law that is signed in that you have access to all your healthcare information, which until a few years ago, when we wrote a note, like what we wrote about you in your chart, you guys were not allowed to access that. But now there's a law that it has to be transparent and that you get to access everything. Okay, so what the doctor wrote about you and what kind of a treatment plan they have for you. So that's a big change right now. So you guys have full access to your medical history. So you can absolutely just, you know, send that along as a PDF because it's easy to save. Or you can just tell your provider that I want it to be sent at this email address and they will do it for you. It works either way.
Okay, cool. Yes, I do have, I just got that. So and I am on My Chart or something like that. And it's a portal that I can get my history and I can send it. So somebody in the chat asked if you could just share your website again.
Yeah, I just did that. I don't know if I sent it to one person. I think I did. Hang on. Let me send it to everyone.
Again, we want to just thank you again, taking the time on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday morning, I guess, not coming to be afternoon, and sharing this wealth of knowledge. As I'm getting older, I'm getting a little bit more conscious about it myself, my husband. So both of us, we wanted to just, you know, eat the right food and stay healthy so that we can do whatever the things we want to do.
Absolutely. And thank you, Savita, one more time for this, and Diva for hosting it, and for all of you guys who joined in today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Richa. I think we're off now.